Hello and welcome back to Talk About Strange. I have for you today the update we've all been waiting for from Mark. She found him and that's what she wants to tell us about. So she wrote in a incredible journey here story from her and we're going to dive right into that. I just want to talk about yesterday. I went out and hit the road and I just uploaded that video. I went out to the Sodas Point Pier and just to get some fresh air and some sunshine and get out of the office. I've been cooped up in here trying to get the podcast channel started. I'm still behind on that, trying to get it done. I've just, one thing leads into another thing leads into another thing. But I have this story and I just couldn't hold on to it anymore because I know you guys have been waiting for this. So let's get buckled up and dive right into this and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to try to get this all done and uploaded today, the same day. So I'm really excited about it and I know you guys will be too. I'm sorry I've been away for 5 days now. I haven't been able to do any updates or upload any videos. So, but we're all right now. We're going to get back on track and my daughter's coming over this weekend and she's going to help me try to put that podcast together. It's just I got so many skillets in the oven that, you know how it is. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, boy, I'm excited about this. Buckle up. Dear Steve, hello. I hope you are doing well. I don't know how to begin to thank you for all that you have done. A simple letter to you has changed my life. It turns out we really had no idea where we were going when we set out. I wanted to find my son so bad I thought it was worth the risk. But in my gut, I knew I might be making a big mistake. Had you not sent Wendy to help us, either we would not have found my son or possibly been lost or dead. So I will just say from the very bottom of my heart, thank you. Someday we will meet and I owe you a great big polar bear hug. I have so much I need to share with you. I learned things from my son that I had no memory of. I want to tell you about a very dangerous journey here and how Wendy and her team helped us find my son. Wendy has asked me to include a very important message from her as well. I will get to that soon. As you might already know, there aren't a lot of ways to get in and out of the island. No, I have no idea, but I can imagine. So I can't say much about that or specific locations. As you know, I was already here when Wendy and the others arrived. So our guide had to bring us back out of the forest in order to meet up with them. I'm glad he did. As it turns out, we were way off course and headed in a very dangerous location. There are more than one tribe of what you call Bigfoot out here on the island. There are more than one tribe of what you call Bigfoot here on the island. They are both dangerous in some situations, but one of them is always dangerous. My son explained that it wasn't always this way. At one time, they were all together. He explained that some of them become very frustrated with people coming on the island and destroying the forest. I'm referring to the logging companies for the most part, but also some of the hunters that came out just to kill animals for fun and leave them. As far as they were concerned, this was their island first, going back hundreds of years. There were a few in a group that started to scare people off. When that didn't work, they started to make them disappear. Some of the leaders in the tribe didn't want this happening. They understood that more people would come looking. Slowly, over several years, it became a power struggle between the leaders and they eventually split into two tribes. Our small team was headed straight for the wrong side. My son told me that had we gotten there and they remembered who I was, they probably would have killed the men and done worse to me. They hate humans and have no use for half-breeds. But they do obey some of the old laws. They don't look for people to kill. They try to stay hidden and they avoid conflict if possible. But if you force your way into their territory or show aggression, they are not afraid to hurt you or worse. My son's tribe will first hide, then they will scare you out as long as you're not aggressive. If that doesn't work, they generally leave the area until it's safe to return. If they get cornered, they can and will chase you out of the forest and hurt you if necessary. This is where Wendy's message comes in. Hello, Steve. I asked Amarik to please share this with you in with her message. I think it's very important. I will keep it brief. Please pass along to your viewers. Listen to what Amarik is telling you about these two tribes. This is not a game or a hobby. These tribe clans can be very dangerous. I know there have been some people trying to find us out here, and we have had to elude them on more than one occasion. Please don't come out here, especially if you don't know the area and you're not a trained professional. We will share our findings when the time is right and not beforehand. Every time someone comes out there that they don't know, it sets us back months and could end the trust that we are building. I appreciate all the love and support you have been sending us. Please be patient and safe. Love, Wendy, Claire, and the team. Good message. Listen, guys, seriously. I mean, I know that you're excited about, Wendy and this team and Claire and them. You want to meet them. People want to learn things, but it's dangerous. Just, don't mess with it. If you don't know what you're doing, don't mess with it. If she wants to find you, she'll find you, but it's just dangerous. So, and you could just gum things up. So, if you're trying to get out there, you want to go on a vacation, go on a vacation, but that's not a vacation. You get in the wrong place. They well know. Anyway, okay, I just want to say that I agree with everything that Wendy is saying here. For your own safety, don't go wandering aimlessly into that island. It looks small on a map, but it's vast and easy to get lost. Back to what I was saying. So far, we met up with Wendy, Claire, and the others. We took a couple days to make a plan before heading back into the forest. Wendy's guide knew where to take us. Unfortunately, no matter where we went, it was cold and wet and rainy almost the entire time. I really still don't understand how they can live out there. The first couple nights we had so much drive and enthusiasm that we didn't really care. Then it started to get hard and to keep up the energy after several days of this. We started talking about heading back in for a while to regroup and come up with another plan. We knew if they didn't want to be found, we could be out there for months. On the 8th day, we started packing up. I took a walk out into the big clearing outside of the forest. I just wanted to be alone for a while. There were trees there that had been ripped out of the ground and flipped over and shoved back into the ground. I guess these are actually all over the island if you know where to look. It happened during the tribe conflict. They marked their territories. My son told me this is an ancient method. The bigger the trees, the older the marking, as the elders were a lot bigger and stronger than most of them today. They were bigger. I asked Wendy if I could be alone just for a while. She knew that leaving was very hard for me. I walked out into the opening. It was nice to feel the sun on my face for the first time in days. I sat on one of the old trees that had fallen and cried. I realized that no matter how badly I wanted to find my son, it was very likely that I'd never see him again. I started talking to him out loud, telling him that I miss him and I love him, that I respect his decision to come out here and I only want to be able to see that he is okay. I felt something sit down behind me on the log and lean against my back. I wasn't sure if I was about to be killed by an animal or if I was dreaming, so I just sat there for a moment. When it didn't attack me, I asked, "Is that really you?" And he mumbled, "Yes, Mom, it's me." Woo! I had to cut my mouth so as not to scream. I was so happy and crying so hard. I got up and turned to him, and he looked at me. I knew it was him, but I didn't recognize him from his memories. Hold on, I just got to take a second. Whew. Man. Whew. That's awesome. His entire body is now covered in long, light brown hair from head to toe, except the top of his head is kind of going bald. I had to pull the thin hair back from his face. I recognized his eyes, but they looked more recessed than I remember. He wasn't wearing any clothes, but it didn't matter as he was covered completely in hair. His hands were hardened and rough. Even his fingertips had become very thick. I asked him how long he was with me here. He said always, meaning the whole time we were out here. I asked him if he knew I was looking for him, and he said yes. I asked why he waited to come out, and he pointed to the camp and said scared. I'm not sure if he was scared of the team or if he thought he would scare them. He is, after all, about 8 foot tall now. When he came out looking for me, he was about to run off. I grabbed his arm and begged him to stay. I told him that she's a friend. Wendy walked slowly with no reaction to him, kind of like when you meet a strange dog for the first time. As Wendy approached, he looked right at her and said, Claire. Wendy stopped dead in her tracks and looked at him. She asked him, did you say Claire? He nodded yes. He looked past her and Claire was walking out of the woods. Wendy asked him quickly, will you hurt her? He said, no, Claire is my family. Steve, I can't begin to explain how intense this moment was. I bet. When Claire got to us, he repeated, Claire. She said, yes, and asked him if he had been trying to communicate with her through mind speak. He nodded, yes. Interesting. She smiled and said, okay, good. I thought I was losing my mind. I would do. Okay, there you go, you guys. I mean, that's big to me. That's like, you guys talk about mind speak all the time and that Bigfoot can use mind speak. I've never experienced it. And so I couldn't rule that as true or false, but hearing this, I mean, I'm not saying you guys were making it up. I'm just saying that, it validates for a lot of us, I think, that. So that's pretty wild stuff. And it also tells us that Claire is capable of it, I think. I know she heard him, or at least capable of hearing it. About that time, we heard one of them howl in the distance. He stood upright and looked in that direction, then told us to go and pointed to the woods where we were camping. I said, no, it's too soon, but he said he would come back and told us to go again. I still didn't want to go, but Wendy said I needed to trust him and insisted we go. As we were walking away, I looked back to see him, and he was already gone. We couldn't wait to get back and tell the others. My husband was so happy for me that he cried. He is so sweet. Of course, I told Wendy and Claire that I wasn't leaving at this point. They also agreed and arranged for a few of the guys to go into the town and get supplies for the next few days, maybe a week. My son didn't come back the rest of that day. Claire explained to us that she had been hearing a voice in her head, but she couldn't quite understand what he was saying until she seen him. Then it all made more sense to her. She said he felt a strong connection to him. She felt a strong connection to him, but also a lot of other strange feelings that she doesn't understand. That night, after we turned in, things got really strange. We started hearing a lot of noises from the forest. You know the ones I'm referring to, branches breaking, howling, trees knocks, all that stuff people talk about. It's real, and even though I knew my son was out there, I was very scared. I didn't know if they wanted to scare us or make us leave, but I wasn't going anywhere. Wendy's guide told us to stay calm and in our tents, and everything would be fine. I was guessing this wasn't his first time. After a while, it did settle down. The next morning, we crawled out of our tents, and the camp was covered in a bunch of leaves, small sticks, from them shaking the trees all around us. It was a mess. After we got things cleaned up, I walked back out to the opening and waited for my son to come back. I sat and watched the sunlight move across the sky until it fell beyond the hills, and he didn't come. I asked Claire if she knew anything or felt anything, and she said no, but she doesn't think he left. That night was quiet, and the next day I waited again. That afternoon around 2 o'clock, Claire came out to me and sat down. I looked at her, and she whispered, "He is here. I feel him." I looked around but didn't see him. So I just asked him to come out. It's okay. Turns out he was standing behind a tree that was behind me on the log I was sitting on. I never heard him walk up to us. We talked for quite a while, but it was still very hard to understand him. His voice had changed and he struggled with words. I asked the obvious things, if he was okay, if he needed anything, if they were good to him. Most of all, when was he coming home? He said he feels fine and they are good to him. The painful part was when he said this is his home. As much as I hated to hear that, just looking at him, I could tell that he'd become more of a forest creature than a civilized man. He was still my boy, but for the first time in his life, I could see that he was finally where he belonged. I was satisfied with that, as long as I could see him from time to time. We talked more over the next couple days. Wendy and Claire also spent time alone talking with him. Claire wanted to know more about herself. Obviously, I will leave that to her to share with you, and Wendy talked more about how she could continue communicating and learning. I can't tell you everything, but I can say that we all learned a lot and have a lot more to learn. He tried to get his leader to come out, but he refused. As for the night of chaos, that was a welcoming party, so to speak. It wasn't meant to scare us, but to let us know they were there. If they didn't want us there, they would have thrown rocks and branches. Wendy said this is the closest she has ever come to a group and has learned a lot. She's going to continue to build this connection and will share all that she can. We know they move around a lot, but now know better how to find them, and we just have to be extra careful not to run into the other tribe. I asked him if he could find out what happened that day they found me and my ex in the forest. I asked him what happened to him. Do they know where he is? Before he left, he told me something that I had blocked out for a long time. Something I never mentioned before and had blocked out from that day. I think it's time I face it. My ex was extremely abusive. When he got drunk, he got angry, and he was drunk a lot. They said that day in the forest they seen him dumping his beer on me, then made me undress and follow him around as he hunted. This was something he liked to do. This time things got out of hand, so one of them stepped out to distract him, and he started shooting at them. They said I ran to the truck, and he was screaming at me to come back. They said he aimed the gun in my direction and one of them threw a rock. It hit him and he didn't get back up. I got to the truck and was trying to leave. One of the leaders was going to push the truck out of the hole, but I ran off into the forest. That's where the other leader from the group, the bad group, found me and had his way with me. Turns out he is my son's father. Oh. He was going to leave me in the forest to die, but my son's leader found me and carried me back to the truck. A few days later, people came out and retrieved the man and took the truck. That was all he knew. Wendy believes the whole thing was covered up by the people in charge to avoid attention out there. I am sad for him and upset about what happened. There is so much more I want to tell you, but I can't. I have to respect the process. Just know that there is more to come. I have my boy back, and that's all that matters to me now. We are going to continue working with Wendy and Claire to learn much more, as much as possible, and continue to help the others find their way. Steve, I can't thank you enough for all you have done. I hope this wasn't too long. I tried to keep it short, but I have so much I wanted to share with you. Oh, and we finally are home, warm, and dry. But looking forward to our next future visit. Please tell everyone on your channel I said thank you for all the love and support they have been giving us out here. They are all so kind and understanding. You are all my extended family, and I'm sending you all big polar bear hugs. Amarik. Wow. So there we go. I mean, that is what we've been waiting for. Oh man, goodness gracious. So she found her boy. I mean, that's phenomenal. Imagine what they can learn from here. I mean, I know we've got so much more coming, and I can't wait to find out what else we find out. Um, Her husband was a bad man, ex-husband, whatever he was. So I wonder, and I don't think they hit him on purpose. I think they meant to scare him, but maybe, I don't know, but wow, that's crazy. Uh, I think they got their hands full out there and what they got to do. And I think we just keep sending them, all the support that we possibly can, and just be patient as things keep coming forward for us. But I think we got a lot of information on its way. I think we're going to learn a lot more over time. Heed the warning. Don't go running around out there. Just be patient. We'll find out what we need to find out. We don't want to blow it and then find out nothing. So we just got to be patient, wait. But wow, Marek, thank you so much for sending that to us. That's amazing. I am so happy for you. I was truly worried that maybe something had happened to your son, that you might not find him. But wow, I can't believe you actually did. And he's actually surviving out there. I mean, I guess he would. But Wendy Claire, thank you so much for the messages that you put in there for us, the message. And I'm just glad you guys are doing good and you're still going. So keep up the good work. Let me know if you need anything. I'll do anything I can. I got some stuff in the works that I'm working on that I think is going to help you out. So I'll be sending some stuff to you. We just got to figure out how to set that up and some extra support for you on that. But I'm going to do what I can to get stuff out for you. Anyway, enough of that. Thank you so much. I knew you guys didn't want to wait any longer for that. Enjoy, and I will see you again very soon.